Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Nick, or the NACPA. On the channel today, we have not one, but two individuals here, two boss ladies. We have Kirstin of Cheeky and Dry, and Jess Selander of Jøyus Wine. Thank you two for being on the channel.
Happy to.
Well, if you haven't guessed, the brand or beverage of this video is the wonderful Jøyus. Of course, that's why we have Jess here, and so we have Kirstin here, and definitely awesome to have just this conversation here on the video today. We're gonna roll through the drinks. We're gonna hear from Jess about sort of the story of Jøyus and different things like that. We're gonna combine the tasting with the story. We're gonna be starting with the sparkling white.
Got it, yeah.
Awesome. And I was curious, as we're pouring this, could you tell me a little bit of your personal story, perhaps?
Sure.
How you came to Jøyus?
Yeah, so I quit drinking over 18 years ago. Went up on, so almost 2 decades sober. And earlier on in that journey, I just really miss wine. Jøyus, we're in our 4th year. So this August, September, that'll have our 4th birthday. So this was about 10 years ago. About 10 years ago is when Jøyus, first started, trying to work on it. Everybody told me I was crazy. Nobody wants that. There's not a market for that.
Yeah.
We're sitting here in Cheeky and Dry, and I'm looking at stock shelves of anything your heart could desire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overwhelmingly, I think I've told that story before, but I think what people don't realize is I didn't come from the wine industry, so trying to figure out how do I even make non-alcoholic wine, and then how do I make it great, But even just first step, I talked to literally over 100 people, and nearly every single one had something negative to say, But I didn't drink. I knew friends that did drink. People get pregnant; they don't drink for 9 months. And I just didn't believe the haters.
More power to you.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you for that.
This is one of the wines we launched with. We launched with the sparkling.
Okay.
Won double gold in Sunsets International.
Surprise.
Best in class, 96 points.
Wow. And Sunset, this is one of the oldest.
Oh, that's the San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
That's the next one.
Okay, sure.
Jumping
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, what's up with that? Awesome.
They're very, very low in sugar too. So 90 calories for the entire bottle, which works out to about 18 calories a glass.
That's
Here's to more of
compared
that.
to a glass of normal
Alcohol?
alcoholic wine. Right?
It's like 600.
That's what I'm saying.
90 compared
Right.
to 600.
That's
Yeah, onto the sparkling, because I feel like the celebratory moments, those are the
Mhm.
hardest ones to stay
Mhm.
sober.
Mhm.
It's like New Year's Eve, people are popping corks, drinking sparkling. If you think of kind of any major life celebration, your head goes to champagne, your head goes to sparkling wine. You get married,
Yep.
there's so many toasts, but they're toasts with this.
Mhm.
And when my husband and I, when we got married, we had Martinelli's sparkling cider.
Like lots of people.
Like lots of people.
Yeah, more than we think.
Yeah, and so I just wanted something different.
So, cheers to that.
Yeah.
So next we're moving over to the sparkling rosé. I'll be a little bit more mindful in our pours here. What about this one right here, the sparkling rosé?
So this one was, trying to talk to people and tell people like, hey, with non-alcoholic wine, Jøyus, it tastes like wine.
Yeah.
And people didn't. They're like, I don't know about that.
Sure.
And I was talking to my oldest brother about it, and then he's like, Jess, nobody believes you. He's like, you have to enter into wine competitions. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. That makes sense. And so I just entered it into probably one of the first things I saw. Sent it off and then didn't think about it and kept doing it because there's a million things to do. So just did other things, and then got back months later. I got back the word that this had won gold, and then looked at it deeper, and it was the San Francisco International Wine Competition, one of the biggest and oldest blind wine competitions in the world.
Sure.
Thousands of entries from across the globe. So this one, this is the first non-alcoholic wine to ever win gold.
Wow.
One of the world's biggest and oldest wine competitions.
Yeah.
The biggest and oldest in the US, but worldwide,
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Good job, girl.
Excellent.
And since then, it's gone on to win more gold medals, double gold, best of class wins, all over.
It's so good.
And that's not, I mean, we heard about the sparkling white, but your still rosé and your red, or your Cab Sauv, are also highly awarded too, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, they've all won awards. Our still rosé has won. It's won double gold and best of class.
She's lost track. She's lost track.
Too many awards.
A good place to be. Yeah.
I think in almost everything it's been entered into. It was Top Shelf's 2023 best non-alcoholic wine.
So does that mean is Jøyus the best?
Like, so sitting here with the highest, most awarded one, right?
Yeah.
And when you win double gold and best of class, it literally means you're the best in that category. But it's one of those things I'm like, doesn't mean that you're gonna like it.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I see people do that a lot where they're like, what's the best of this, right?
Yep.
And so we have a lot of other people calling us that, but at the same point in time, like, everybody's palate is different. Everybody's mouth is different. You could have one person say, this is my absolute favorite, and someone say, like, it's the one I hate the most. And so I think if you're going on a non-alcoholic journey, the best thing you can do is, like, have a get together, have a party, come to Cheeky and Dry, pick up, everybody get a different bottle, different bottle, different brand, and taste around. Or like, you're so good about, I mean, we were in here earlier pre-video tasting all the, tasting a bunch of things. So I will say there's no such thing as the best, because all of our mouths, palates are literally different. Even sugar content, I used to think that we just had different preferences, and we don't. We are living in different worlds.
And that's why in the Seattle area, folks got to make it Cheeky and Dry, right? Because there's that bar right over there, and you're just pouring different little tastings of all these different things.
Love having Jøyus in our shop.
Yay! Love being here. I was just over the moon. I was like, we're finally getting it. Non-alcoholic Seattle. We're finally getting ours.
Yes.
Just saw them springing up, over the country, and I'm like, when's it our turn?
Yep.
And it couldn't have been a more perfect person to do it. So lucky us. Yeah.
The still rosé next. And while I'm pouring it here, something that came to my mind: your wines have come a long ways. They win a lot of awards, and I imagine that probably just didn't happen overnight or by accident. Right?
No.
So tell me a little bit about just doing it, just starting. What are your thoughts on that? How did you get into Jøyus and the wine development?
With our still rosé, oh man, everybody was asking for still, and I was like, well, our gold medal sparkling, it's going to be so easy to go from a sparkling to a still, and it was so complicated. It was so complicated. So I know what I want. I'm super picky in particular, and I mean, even sitting here with like all these like double golds, I'm like, but what if this and that? And there's another brand owner that was like, just, you realize like a lot of people go their whole careers and don't win a double gold, right? And I was like, I guess that's true. But I want people to have the best they can possibly have. I know what it feels like to come to the party with the other. Where it's like, it's just the best you can get. And that sucks. Before Jøyus was ever on the shelf, I set down our core values. Because I had worked for companies that were wonderful, but I'd also seen people get lost. It's easy to get lost along the way, and to lose sight of what you were doing it for, why you were doing it. So one of our core values: include everyone. Treat people how you want to be treated. So basic, but you can go back to that, and you can really measure things by it. Are we putting good into the world? That's a big one, because like, this world is not temporary, and our actions all, affect each other. Like if I'm out here being like, my non-alcoholic wine's the best, well then are people gonna be more hesitant to try something else? You know what I mean? And I don't want to walk into Cheeky and Dry and there's one product for the whole store. No, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
People do that
for
where
sure.
They try and like against each other. It's like, no, like rising tides rise all boats, and you have to have a community to build a community. And for a category, there has to be more than one option. It was funny. I was at this like big New York wine expo, having people try it, different
Yeah.
tons of sommeliers and wine industry people, and I've got the Jøyus non-alcoholic wines signed behind me, but the non-alcoholic wine's a smaller type, and I can't tell you how many times people would come up, wine industry people would come up, they would start drinking it, we would talk about wines, and at some point, so non-alcoholic did it, and they'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So they were drinking it, and they don't,
and they didn't
realize. Blew their minds.
Yeah.
And that was awesome, too, because I think for so long, people were like, it's not,
Yeah.
So that's the thing, too. It's like winning the awards. I'm so happy about it, not because it's like joyous, but because it shows that it's possible. It shows that, this is changing, that there's people crafting non-alcoholic that love it and care about it and feel it can stand on its own 2 feet.
Yeah.
And belongs here.
Yeah, it's needed and wanted.
Yeah, we're here.
I think it also says something to these wines, right? That they are put up against things that this wine did not have. Oh, it was removed.
Yeah.
Right? And it's still, but you made some people mad. Exactly. Awesome.
That's our goal. Not being able to tell.
Yeah.
Our still rosé especially is very popular with diabetics.
Oh yeah.
It's so low in sugar. And it's we have people now too. There's just so many reasons. Like a lot of folks, their parents have dementia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a newer one I never thought of, and have been hearing more and more. We have a family member with a dementia who is used to a nightly wine.
Sure.
And so they're like, oh, this is great. They can have their nightly wine without any downside. And the family can all drink it together because it tastes good. Yeah. So many reasons.
Great.
Yeah. Well, I think on that note, you kind of solved for something that I think is pretty remarkable with this Jøyus. Compare it to, right, alcoholic rosé, alcoholic sparkling wine, or champagne. Not going to get a hangover, and it's still tasty.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty special.
Yeah.
I think. With that, let's round out our wine tasting here, which
this is
is
the big one.
really fun to be able to have a non-alcoholic. Like just taking a step back and think about that. Like, wait a minute, we're not in Woodinville or anything like that, but we're doing a wine tasting with non-alcoholic wine, and not just one, but 4. Which is super,
beautiful.
super great.
This dry January, we did the first non-alcoholic wine flight in a restaurant ever.
Cool.
Yeah, it was with Joanne's Trattoria in New York. They are so
really?
lovely. Yes, they're so lovely, so wonderful. And some of the stuff is just, it's crazy, right? It's crazy to be like, oh yeah, this is the first non-alcoholic wine flight at a restaurant ever.
Yeah.
What took so long?
Let's try this one.
Smell.
Yeah. It's got the tannins.
Mm-hmm.
So that thing where like it dries out your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like the tannins. So when people talk about mouthfeel, they're talking about like a lot of different things, but it's that, trying to have someday we'll get the legs.
Yeah.
Working on it.
Right.
But there's things alcohol does, and so trying to figure out, well, how do we do this when we don't have that? Worked on the cab the longest. Still working on it.
It's funny you say that it's not good enough, because I guess what NBC's
Best
top
red.
non-alcoholic red is
that
apparently
NBC?
not.
NBC. But we're USA Today's top 10 too.
There you go.
Yeah.
One thing I wonder, because it seems to me that sure we're talking about the beverage itself, right? But you're talking about other things that are not just. You're talking about the experience, inclusive.
Yes.
All of that stuff. So I'm wondering, Jess, when you come in and you're working on tweaking somehow this award-winning red, are you thinking beverage company, or what's going through your head?
I know how hard it is to be sober, and I know what that can mean and how serious that can be for a lot of people. And so for us, it's like we're in this for very, very different reasons, and I think that very much does influence a lot of what we do, because the kind of actions we have, we know this is very, very important to us, and having that, making that journey for whatever someone's reason, making that journey easier. I know the first time I had a ladies' weekend and everybody was drinking red wine, and I had my red wine. It's just like there was a moment where I just took this deep breath and I was like, and then I completely forgot about it and enjoyed my evening. Yeah. And that's the goal, is that you can just not even be thinking about it, because you're just in that moment with your friends, enjoying your life.
Yep.
You know, you're present. You're present in your life instead of, you know, not different. Yeah. Yeah. So we're not a beverage company. We're not doing those actions. You know, we're here. Even the name Joyous, like that was very unusual when we launched. A lot of things very much focused on it doesn't have alcohol, you know, and we're like, no, like this idea that like you can still have joy, you can still have celebration, your life isn't over.
Yeah.
You know, it says let's celebrate on our bottles.
Woo! Anybody comes in for celebration, like, have you seen Joyous?
Oh, weddings.
Yeah, right?
Weddings.
Yeah.
Oh,
Perfect.
The first time I saw a bride with like it's just like in her wedding dress, it was like, you know, the photos.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
The bottle of Joyous, and I just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's still just like kills because I was like, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
No, I had the kiddie table drink.
Yeah.
You know, to be like, oh, you look gorgeous and you're an adult and you can, you know, celebrate and have your time. It was just like, that's what it's all about. You know, and the first time I saw Joyous in the fridge case, historically, non-alcoholic wine, going to a grocery store, it's dusty bottom shelves, someplace odd. Right? And so Joyous, we were like in the fridge case in a local grocery store. And they've been great and super supportive. And the first time I saw that was the same. Because it goes back to our mission. Our mission is to normalize non-drinking. Our mission is not to have the number one beverage in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Our mission is to normalize non-drinking. Yeah.
Having something for everybody, because every party you go to or every celebration that's out there, you want to be part of it.
Yes.
And the best hosts out there are the ones that give something for everybody. Everybody feels the same. Everybody gets a pretty glass.
Everybody gets a pretty glass. Yes, not the pint glass.
Yes.
Right.
Joy, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what we all deeply want as human beings. We all want that connection. I think it's gotten, I used to say this like pre-COVID, that it's hard, and post, it's like people are angry and odd. You know, and I think we are all in this together.
Yeah.
We're contagious individuals where if we see each other doing good, we'll do good. You know, you see the YouTube videos, online videos where people are driving past a burning car, and you see the videos where someone stopped, and then you see 10 other people stop to help someone out. And it just takes that one person to be the person that stops to start helping to other people, like, I'm going to help too. Like, we all rub off on each other.
Unfortunately, with that, on the whole note of stopping, we have to stop as of this point in time, we've run out of our different varieties of Joyous until Jess tweaks another one. That she's
always working on stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I want to say thanks, Jess. Thanks, Kirstin, for being here. This was a channel first, having a conversation rather than me talking about a brand that I, looked up on the internet. It was great to have both of you here, part of this conversation. Thought I knew a lot about Joyous. Full transparency, I've done some tastings for Joyous. I mean, Joyous is the reason why I am so involved in the NA space. Thank you for all that you did, have done, continue to do. It's just absolutely fantastic. With that, folks, hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you liked the video, please go ahead and give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and subscribe. And see you next time.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah.